All right. I think we are going to get started. Let me start the slideshow. All right. Welcome to our partner series on how the modern agencies use marketing automation to grow their client ROI. I'll do some quick introductions here. I'm Brian Anderson. I'm the VP of Go-to-Market Operations and oversee partnerships here at Acton Software. And I have with me Mark Finnegan from Goose and Elias from MarketingGuys. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves real quick. Mark, you want to go first?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I'll start with a little bit quickly about Goose Digital. So we are Canada's leading marketing performance agency. We've been an agency for about 10 years now. We really focus on helping our customers drive growth and return on investment through digital marketing, marketing automation, and various other marketing technologies. We've been a proud Acton partner for over 8 years now. A little about myself. So I'm the Director of Marketing and Sales Enablement at Goose. I've been at Goose for over 7 years now. I actually manage our partnership with Acton, among some of our partnerships with other maps and CRMs. I've seen Acton constantly kind of evolve and grow over my entire 7 years here at Goose Digital. Really always kind of happy to see how they're adapting to customers and our partner kind of needs. My combination of extensive experience with Acton and other maps and CRMs combined with kind of my multiple years of experience inside of these platforms really helps me kind of solve customers' needs in terms of what they're looking to kind of achieve for their customers inside of a platform like Acton. So excited to speak to everyone today.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Elias?
So I'm Elias. I'm the founder at MarketingGuys. We're a MarTech and sales tech B2B agency based out of the Netherlands. We have customers all over the world, mainly Western Europe and some in the US. We have been an Acton partner for over 10 years now, I think. So Acton was actually one of the first partners that we had in marketing automation. So we go back a long time. We have done probably over 100 implementations for Acton. And we mainly focus, as said, on MarTech and sales tech. So we're both on the strategical, but also on the operational and technical aspect of MarTech. So we integrate, etc. We'll come to that later. Yeah, I'm looking forward to have a chat today.
Great. Yeah. So jump into key takeaways for today. This is really meant to be a conversation between the three of us. I'll kind of moderate, ask you guys some questions, and love to get your guys' take on everything. So sorry, I have a cough. Hold on one second.
All good.
Apologize, I've been battling this sickness the last few days. So I think that we're gonna try key takeaways are partnerships, the approachability Acton has with our partnerships, how we support our partner ecosystem, the tech elements of our software that help support your agencies and all the different types of partnerships that we have, and then the broad partner ecosystem that we have. And apologize, I'm really struggling to talk here. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna drink the water. So we'll just jump into the agenda real quick. So ultimately, we want to talk with you guys about how marketing agencies have had to continue to adapt to the changing landscape that we have. The customers are becoming more and more educated out in the field, the clients are, and there's putting more demand on the technical providers as well as agencies. And so I would like to, I'd love to get some of your feedback on that. And then we'll wrap up about the type of partnerships that we have here at Acton and kind of explain those, and we'll do some Q&A at the end. So real quick, so who is Acton? So Acton has over 4,000 organizations worldwide that we're already working with. We have 100 plus different types of partners across our ecosystem. We have a bunch of marketing agencies. 2 of them are you guys on the phone right now. We also have all different MarTech type partners, CRM partners, all different types of partners. And we have a lot of success stories. Our reviews speak for themselves across the bottom there. You can kind of see a handful of those reviews. Our reviews speak for themselves. Just a quick overview. So let's double click into the idea that there's a changing landscape that we have. Maybe 5 years ago, marketing managers wouldn't have had access to as much information and capabilities as they do today. We use the concept of what we call graduators and disenfranchised. Graduators are folks that are in which we're seeing a large amount of these, which are in the more of the basic email service providers. And as they're becoming more educated into the marketing stack, they are moving up market and looking for a service and a provider that can help them be more holistic approach to their marketing, and disenfranchise those using some of the older other marketing automation platforms out there. And they're frustrated and they're looking to grow into something that helps support the whole marketing stack that they have. And because of this, though, our clients are becoming a little more demanding. They understand more about the market and what's out there, and they're looking for more solutions. So really, I want to flip this over to you, Mark and Elias, and I'd love to get your take. Is this what you actually are also seeing? Just maybe, can you expand a little bit about that?
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess I can start. So I really agree with kind of all the key points on this slide. I think our clients more than ever are definitely kind of evolving with the times. They're definitely not as focused on things like opens and clicks today as they are as focused on how many opportunities are we actually generating from any kind of campaign or program that we're running, how many are actually kind of converting into business, and then how many are actually what kind of revenue is actually coming from that. So I wholeheartedly agree that that's definitely shifting. They're looking at ways to kind of integrate other technologies into the platforms as well. They're far more sophisticated than they were a few years ago.
Yeah, and I see the same thing happening over here in Europe. So from what we're seeing, there's a lot of second time or even third time buyers of marketing automation. So you call them, I think you call them the disenfranchised, or we see that a lot. So specifically with the evolving markets, our clients and marketers that are let's say the end users really know what they want. So they demand more from integrations. So as Mark pointed out, they want to have this whole marketing automation platform integrated with, well, of course, their CRM, but also with event management software, apps, sales tech, whatsoever. And they want to be able to be in control themselves. So still they need agencies to help them switch, think about the strategy, do those integrations and manage. But they don't want to, from what we're seeing, is they don't want to rely on agencies, for example, for making templates, like landing pages, email templates, and those kinds of things they want to do themselves. Mm-hmm. So and that's, I think, where Acton comes in beautiful, where, especially when customers have experience with their platforms. So the ones that don't enable them to be self building those templates. So we all know who those are. So those bigger ones we typically see switching over to an Acton, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like a lot of what we're seeing from our customers is less on those kind of basic things, and it's more help us with our strategy around the platform, help us with complex kind of setup of automated programs, help us kind of get the data and insights we need out of the platform, which a tool like Acton is able to obviously provide. But that's what they seem to be coming for us from, less so kind of the basic templates is kind of out.
Are both of you agnostic agencies in the sense that you work with multiple marketing automation providers?
Yep, that's absolutely approach. Yeah, so we work with Act-On, we work with all the kind of other major kind of key players as well. So that's something that we're constantly looking at. If it is a net new customer and they're coming to us, we're evaluating not just Act-On, these other platforms too, and really making sure that they have kind of a clear idea of the capabilities of all of them and what they can do. But yeah, Act-On is definitely one that's always kind of top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same for us. So we partner with the bigger ones. So we typically tend to say to customers when we help them in an agnostic way, we can't partner with everyone, right? So we have 4 or 5 partners that we partner with. But I think to come back to that earlier point that I made, where we see a lot of switching and second time or third time buyers, specifically to those ones that in the past bought something as a package or something that was in an entire cloud or whatsoever. We often see that that's not the answer to all the needs anymore. So one of the things that we're seeing is, of course, with HubSpot being the number 1 brand in marketing automation and currently basically more positioned as a CRM provider, but HubSpot is not always the answer to a specific need. Specifically when you have a best of breed landscape where customers want to build their own stack, want to integrate a specific CRM or have specific GDPR questions that we see a lot in Europe. Act-On comes in as a best of breed solution, which typically answers or meets the demands better than HubSpot in some cases. But it's hard as an agency owner to make that aware. It's to make them aware of the differences, because all marketers know HubSpot, right? So, but and that's where I think Mark and I find each other as well. It's when you come in with that agnostic approach, you can really show them what the differences are. You don't have to choose for them. They choose themselves. Ultimately, the customer decides which platform is the best. But you, as an agency, you can really show them the differences from experience. And as Mark pointed out earlier, he knows the system. We know the system. We know Act-On. We can really show you the differences. And as I typically tend to work with prospects, as an agency, we really go into the details. So, for example, we're especially in integrations, and I think Mark can elaborate on this as well, and we'll recognize it. But a green dot at an integration where on our website says, "Does this system integrate with that system?" That doesn't automatically mean that the customer will be happy, right? So not all integrations are equal. There's custom integrations, there's Zapier integrations, there's native integrations. And all those are different, but the customer in the end only sees that green mark on our website where it says, yes, this integrates with that. And in the end, they end up not being happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think, and I look at it like your first point here on the slide, like Goose Digital Services definitely had to be adaptive. When I first started at Goose, we were really a marketing automation agency, and based on the demands of our customer, we really kind of expanded our services out to strategy, CRM support, data and insights, digital marketing, you name it. And then I look at it on the flip on the Act-On side, like if I think back to what Act-On actually looked like 7 or 8 years ago, when I started at Goose Digital, it is drastically different than what it looks like today. Like you've constantly responded to our kind of partners, kind of things on, hey, I think this could make it better, or what do you guys think about this feature? And the same thing with customers' feedback. You've always been receptive to that and really looking to kind of innovate. So
absolutely,
that's great.
I think we lean on our partners a lot for to help to know where the market is going and help. We take the same approach with our software to be agnostic. We support all the different types of vendors and opposed to having married to what you're seeing a lot in the consolidation of the different marketing automation platforms out there. They're consolidating the stack of which they support, whereas we've taken a very similar to the approach you guys have taken to be sort of agnostic. Let's take a quick poll for everybody on the call. Do you think it's necessary to provide your customers with options for maps? A, you'll be able to vote just basically A, B, C. So A would be yes, 2 to 3. B is no, prescribing one. So you take the approach of just one solution you're providing. Or C, maybe you're not sure, and maybe that's why you joined this call. And as we're waiting for some of those questions to come in, I'll ask you guys some questions. Let's see here. What do you think are some of the primary reasons for clients choosing agencies? Like, what would you say the primary reasons are? I'll give you a couple options: lack of internal resources, they need help; customer needs to do more with less; looking for platform expertise; team enablement. What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I would definitely say lack of internal resources is a big one. I think they are like these platforms are fairly complex. While a platform like Acton is probably one of the most user friendly, they are complex and they do take a significant amount of time to fully understand how they function and operate. So I think they rely on an agency to really help provide the best practices and processes around these systems. That would be kind of a key one for me. And then it's really kind of looking at like an agency as an extension of your marketing team to really help drive the efficiencies and growth that you're looking to get out of the platform.
Yeah, one of the things that we're seeing is also that as an agency, we're offering continuity to a customer. So with people changing jobs, they also are losing marketing automation knowledge. So we as an agency are a constant factor typically. So that has to do with that lack of internal resources, but also offering them a continuous support. We recently had a customer in Germany that came to us and said, "Well, we have a system running, but we don't know how to do anything, so we don't want to touch it. Someone left us, all the expertise went away. Could you offer something that we can you help us continuously to improve our marketing automation efforts?"
That's a good call out too. I think marketing has typically one of the highest turnovers.
Yeah, it used to be sales leaders. It's now CMOs are the highest.
Right. And that's a lot of our conversations with too, is the person that was running Acton or one of these other map platforms or another CRM has left the organization. We have that gap to fill, and that's where Goose Digital can kind of fill in nicely and kind of take over that role.
Yeah. So the other thing that we're seeing, sorry to interrupt you, Brian, but you take the time to take an extra nap or an extra sip. I mean, in Dutch it's a nap, but that's not something I would like to say to you here. The other thing, so that we're seeing is there's a lot of turnover, and there is a lot of customers. So end users, and this is really important, I think, to agency owners, but and this will definitely be recognized by Mark, but they just made a mess out of the system. So with that high turnover and a marketing automation in place for a couple of years, they just put in numerous forms and segments and landing pages, and it's just become a mess, which is a great opportunity for an agency to jump in and say, "Hey, we need to do a re-implementation. We need to work on your data infrastructure. We'll help you to build a solid platform for the future." And especially those customers understand the value of an agency that has platform expertise, but also has best practices in a marketing, in a data infrastructure solutions, etc.
Yeah, excellent point. So the results are in. We had a few of the maybes, not sure's, but the lion's share on yes, 2 to 3. So I think we're all kind of in alignment there.
Great.
Okay. So form deeper relationships. So the key of this is basically, I want to have a conversation around how can partners be more competitive in the market, and how can they make money through partnerships, platforms like Acton. I mean, in the end, that's the goal. You guys need to make money. We're here to support you. This is a win-win relationship. And due to how our product works, I do think it allows you to expand some of your offerings with some of our product, how our product actually very specifically helps support agencies, which I know we're going to get into in just in a few slides for now. But anyway, I'll just turn that right back over to you guys, and maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So from what I'm seeing, and I'll reflect on what I said earlier. HubSpot is not an answer to any question. All marketers know HubSpot, but as agency owners will recognize, HubSpot has numerous resellers. So it's hard to be in that partner environment of HubSpot and make the difference because they have a zillion partners.
Yeah.
And the experience we have with Acton as a partner is that we really can rely on Acton as a partner. We're not a number. So if we want to have some specific help, and that could be commercial, right, in building an offer, but it could also be technical in solving some kind of solution, like a specific need. I mentioned GDPR. So if you have a GDPR issue, we operate a lot in Germany. So customers have questions about GDPR. GDPR was invented in Germany. So they always will start the conversation by GDPR. So if you want to talk about that, you need a strong partnership with your vendor because, at least German customers, they're not gonna accept just standard procedures. So they want you to come up with standard contact clauses, want to discuss their initial case, etc. If we have customers that have specific onboarding things like whitelisting stuff or email deliverability, those kinds of things are very important for specifically customers that want to switch from one platform to the other. And we really have Acton support there. So we know the people at Acton. We have short lines. We can talk to them. We have a good understanding of what questions can be answered, what's possible. But there is always a one-on-one relationship. As I tend to say, we're not a number. It's important. We're taken seriously. There's different kinds of partnerships. So we'll come to that later in the presentation as well. But we also, I think the partnership is a bi-directional thing, right? So it's not only resell the licenses, which is important, of course, because we all want to make money, but it also goes the other way around. So we've seen a lot of times where Acton really asks us for help, brings us on a customer in a customer deal. So we have customers all over the world, Acton customers that we help, where Acton really brought us in. So and we've not seen that happen with other vendors as often. When we see this happen with HubSpot, and I think a lot of agency owners see that you're in a Slack channel and you're one of a zillion partners that needs to react. So this is different from what we're seeing with Acton.
Mark, what about you and Goose?
Yeah, so I would completely agree with that. I think when it comes to Acton, we definitely feel like valued partners that you're actively kind of looking for feedback or even guidance in some cases on kind of certain things, whether it's new features or an approach with a different, like a prospect that you're working on. Likewise, like we heavily rely on you guys too. It's a very much a give and take relationship that we don't necessarily have with some of the other partners that we're working with. So we really value it. I mean, Goose has definitely significantly grown over the years through Acton directly. I think about 45% or more of our customer base is on Acton. So and we're even using Acton ourselves for our own marketing efforts. So it's definitely been absolutely kind of critical over the years for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So I know we touched on this a little bit before, but this is just a visual picture of our native integrations, and how we truly are just agnostic, and then we have such a broad approach across all different types of platforms that we integrate with. But my question to you guys is, where are you seeing the trends for integrations and marketing automation solutions? Where are you seeing it going in a new direction, a bigger direction? Just feel free to go any way with that question.
Sure. I guess I could start with this one. So
Sorry.
one that we're seeing, like we're like a big core of our customer base and prospect base is really around insurance. One big one that we're constantly seeing is the need to kind of integrate into their broker management systems. That's a big one. The other one that constantly kind of pops up is all these kind of latest like AI features around, whether it's like chat GPT, for example. That's always kind of a common one. The great thing is that Acton's already kind of brought AI into the system, so you don't need to integrate a chat GPT into the system. But those seem to be kind of the most recurring ones for me. Other than that, it would be probably kind of smaller, lesser known CRMs that they're typically looking to integrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing that I would like to point out here is, well, basically the last couple of months we get a lot of traction on sales technology that needs to be integrated, like a Seismic or SalesLoft, where all the companies that are using this in a best of breed way can, in a best of breed solution, that really integrates neat with Acton. The other thing is Acton has a great API, and as an agency, we have seen that there's a lot of potential offering Acton integration services with a iPaaS solution, so an integration platform as a service, which as an agency owner is also a great way to earn recurring revenue. You're building a very sticky relationship with your customer, because when Acton is integrated with any kind of CRM or event management software through iPaaS, you're really in their business process. So you're not easy to replace. They need you. They don't only need you for marketing services. They also need you for integration and technical stuff. So using integration platforms as a service, so iPaaS solutions, that are also hosted and are also managed, you have an extra recurring revenue stream as an agency. So with a very sticky relationship, we have seen this with customers or Acton customers that really tend to renew for 3 years, time after time. So we have a couple of customers that are on these kinds of solutions for 4 or 5 years already, and they renew for a couple of years. No, it's not as well, if you're an agency owner in marketing, you'll recognize that there's always a point where a customer comes when you're only offering marketing or lead gen services. They're going to come to you and say, "Hey, the results are not what we expected. We have budget cuts whatsoever." That point is going to come always. It could be after 6 months. It could be after 1 year and 6 months, but that's always coming. If you're offering integration services, those questions tend to be different, but you're judged based on the technical relationship and not only on the marketing results. Because we have to be honest, we have that we can influence the marketing results, but you can't always be accountable for it, because services can be bad. The market can change. There's all kinds of things that can change. And if you offer these kinds of integration services as an agency, that really, is for us, is a different ballgame.
Yeah, we all know the more involved relationship becomes managing multiple integrations, the stickier that gets. It's the same approach we take with our integrations and the approach you guys take. Okay. So it's been touched on a couple times already, but we'll spend a little more time on it. The enhancements that Acton has been adding with our AI. So I think, Mark, you just mentioned Chat GPT. We now have that power inside of Acton itself, with an integration that basically allows you to, use that functionality directly in platform to help getting your emails written. We have AI for analytics, which we'll touch on here in a minute. So it's something we are very much all in on. I know pretty much the whole world is talking about this at this point, and we're seeing more and more of it. It's definitely changing all of technology. But my question for you guys is, have you noticed these features, these integrations in your client relationships make it more sticky for you guys? Is it helpful to have these features available to you?
Yeah, so I could start. So I'm seeing these topics come up far more frequently, I would say, even over the last few months. I don't know that they are stickiness yet, but I absolutely believe they are going to be stickiness features in the future. I think that the sticky things in terms of like Act On today as it stands is really having all of your kind of customer and lead communications flushed out correctly, and then actually implementing that all inside of the system. So to me, that's building out all of your segmentations, that's building out all of your automation use cases, that's building out custom kind of forms and landing pages. That's how you really kind of get everything kind of entrenched and keep your customers kind of well embedded in the system, and making it clear as day that they're going to kind of renew.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about these features is that, well, they have come out pretty quickly the last year. So Act On really had a couple of updates, which also enable us to reach out to those customers, to, well, start a new conversation with them, and really start supporting them in actually using this. So specifically the AI integration stuff and the new stuff which is coming out, the AI lead scoring, etc. So, but the analytics, the email builder with the ChatGPT integration really is something that for us enables enables a new conversation. So it enables us to start conversations, start offering new services again. Definitely the CRM integrations are for us very much enabling a sticky relationship, because from all the customers that we've seen, the ones that have CRM integrations will basically never cancel a subscription. They rely on it. It works. They are happy. They can show results. They have an integrated reporting about how much revenue they attributed to the pipeline. All that kind of stuff makes it easy for marketing to justify the investment and to keep using this.
Yeah. Completely agree. The AI analytics one, I think, is going to be a very sticky one for sure. I think it's just so new still that people are really just starting to scratch the surface of what they're actually able to do with it.
Yeah. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is like a little clip of the natural language processing ability, where you can pretty much type in any question and it'll spit out results for you. It's very cool. I was talking to a partner actually yesterday, and he was sharing with me that this is really, it allows him to provide his customers with reporting and answer questions extremely fast. So he's a marketing service provider. He does the service, not provider, but he does marketing service as I can't talk, marketing automation as a service for his customers. And he's able to provide weekly, monthly, even daily, if he wants, reporting to his customers, and provide dashboards and views into his customers, into what they're doing, and answer questions quickly, and really just basically come across as a hero to his customers. It's true whether you're a direct customer and you're running marketing, or if you're an agency running marketing for the customer. Just gives you such visibility into it. We'll send a video out at the end of this to everybody as well, that has a bigger demo of the capabilities. But we just want to touch on it real quick because it's new and it's very exciting for us. We're getting really good feedback from our customers and our partners on it.
Yeah, that's great.
So one thing that makes Act On very unique is our marketing network, which is this concept of a parent-child relationship. So this is, especially in the agency world, it allows you to have a parent account and child accounts, and you can push down email templates, forms, landing pages, automated programs. So you can build it once and pass it down across all the accounts you may manage. This, again, works both for agency world as well as the direct customer world. If you have multiple divisions and you can control your brand, consolidate your reporting as well. It just opens up a whole world, and it's very unique to Act On, offering to Act On. So my question to you guys is, have you found the marketing network useful to help roll out campaigns quicker when you add a new customer on? I'll just let you expand from there.
Yeah, so I've absolutely found it useful. So I think like we definitely have that relationship today where we have our parent instance and we have about 15 child instances. There are times where we will absolutely kind of build out like a multi-purpose template, and we can easily kind of rebrand that, repurpose that at the parent level, and then issue that down to kind of the child instances. So that's definitely a very handy feature. It's also just an easy way to also kind of manage all of your customers as well, allocating different things like users or contacts. It's a great way. We also have customers that use it as their own kind of parent instance, and then they will use like different departments or different divisions, as you had said, will kind of have their own. And that's a great way where like the corporate team can manage all of the templates across the board and issue them down to the various departments. So it's definitely been very beneficial in both ways.
Yeah, I think that the last one that you're referring to, Mark, is we've seen with bigger companies as well. So we're we're a Marketo partner as well, so we know the Marketo landscape. But Marketo has been traditionally pretty strong with the workspaces and partitions solution, which is a solution offered to basically multinational companies where each country has their own workspace, as they call it. And I think this replaces that in an easier way. So you would still have an add-on which is very user friendly. You don't need any consultancy at the end user level to design emails and landing pages whatsoever. And you would still have that capability of giving someone their own user space and be able to allocate resources. So you could design a template on a master level and then send that over to a child account, which could be any kind of region or country within a bigger company.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this is that like your competitors like HubSpot and even Salesforce for that matter really don't have a counter solution to this. It's really just their own individual instances, which can be a bit of a challenge to manage and can be costly. So this is definitely kind of a counter and kind of beneficial option for people to consider.
Yep. Okay, so I want to just touch on the different types of partnerships we have as we're kind of coming to the end here. We have basically three buckets. We call them sell on, market on, and solution on. Your sell on partnerships are your authorized resellers, so somebody who manages the customer manages their own instance with support provided by the partner. So you're truly reselling the software and representing the act on. Managed services. So this is MSPs. This is somebody who is doing the marketing for their customers. We have our market on, so joint go-to-market partnerships where we co-sell together, and referral partnerships where we are pretty self-explanatory. Can't talk. And we have tech partners. So these are your your different software providers that we have tech integrations with, and we have service partners. Both MarketingGuys and Goose are a variety of these different partnerships all in one. We know you're not in most cases you're not just one. You can be, but you can be a variety of the different types. I don't know, Mark, if you want to expand on this a little bit from your perspective.
Yeah, this has probably been the biggest part of obviously our partnership is like we are definitely interacting with the Act-On team in multiple different ways on any given week. Really, we are authorized resellers. We're doing managed service. We are a referral partner where we're generating kind of business opportunities and bringing you to the table to help kind of win the deal. So. It's been great. Same thing with kind of like services partners as well. So it's been huge in Goose Digital's growth. We've definitely seen the return on investment on our side, and I'd like to think that Act-On has as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we truly believe in a semiotic, both ways relationship, and I think you guys are both good examples of where we essentially send work back and forth to each other all the time and work closely together.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's Act-On is absolutely a key tool for us, and we're really excited for all the features you've just come out with and the new ones that you're already kind of considering.
Yeah, very recognizable. It's something we as Mark also indicates. It's a relationship where we really trust each other. Business goes both ways, and both commercially, but also technically. It's not. It's actually quite often that we get business through Acton. So they really ask us to integrate something. When the Portland office reaches out or the London office reaches out to us and say, hey, we have this and this customer, direct sales, could you please integrate that? Could you look into that? Could you help that customer out? And that's really a unique relationship, I think. If you're looking at this in the other marketing automation partnerships that we have, I've not seen this happen at this scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So if it makes sense, if you've been listening to this and you want to chat, there's an email address right there, partners@acton.com. You can send a message to that and we can set something up to talk a little bit more about our different types. And that brings us to the end. So I think we can open it up for Q&A. If you have any questions, you want to type it into the chat and we can answer those for you. And see, I got one question. What type of partnerships do you have? Can you be a reseller or affiliate, etc.? So I think we just touched on that a little bit, but yeah, you can be any type of partner. We have, like I said, reseller and MSP partners. We have, a variety of different, and it's really up to you and how you want to work with Acton. We will make ourselves available to whatever type of partnership you're open for, and what, generally speaking, what works best or what it makes the most sense in that relationship. I don't know if I think Mark and Elias both touched on this just a second ago. So I think we have the ability to work closely with you, and whatever makes the most sense for your business, that's what we'll do, as well as obviously our business. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for hanging with me in my cough. I know I've gone on mute a few times. I'm fighting through it though.
Champ fighting through it for sure.
What do you see as another question? What do you see as the biggest benefit of working with Acton? Either one of you guys wants to take that one.
To me, it's it's such a sophisticated and powerful tool. To me, it's helped Goose Digital, like I said before, with our own marketing efforts, but it's helped so many of our customers grow as well. And I think it's just your constant ability to be flexible and receptive to your customers and partners' needs to really make sure that they're getting what they need out of the platform. You're constantly adapting and innovating, and that's kind of what's critical to me. Is not kind of just staying stagnant with what's worked in the past. It's really understanding of what's going to work and meet customers and partners' needs for the future. So.
Yep. Yeah, I would very much agree with that. We have been using Acton as our own marketing automation platform as well at MarketingGuys since 2013. So we built a big history in the platform, in our own segments and all kinds of customer data that we have there. And it's really easy to demo the advantages to customers. So I think that's one of the advantages. And the other one, I think we have touched on this, but I love the way Acton is an approachable partner for us. So we can really work together with Acton. It's not too rigid. You have a channel manager, account manager that you know. They combine efforts. We work together on deals. We work together on technical solutions whatsoever. It's very approachable, and it's not as rigid as I've seen with the bigger vendors. So they have reseller programs, and it's all neat. They all have partner portals and cool stuff in which everything is laid out, but you're also treated as a number. More or less, you have to, and that's why I love that question earlier on. What kind of partnerships do you offer? And you said, well, basically, Brian, you indicated that it's up to the partner, and I wouldn't say that's the typical reaction for a vendor. They typically say, we have a partner program, and this and this and this is the way it is, and you have to and when you're doing this and this, you're that kind of or that level of partner. With Acton, you really work together, and it's not so much about being a gold or elite or what kind of partnership. It's you achieve results. Well, as an agency owner and as Acton, you want to earn money. You're together in this to build business, to build recurring revenue streams, and you're flexible and approachable as an Acton, I would say.
Another question we have is, what type of financial benefit is there to becoming a partner? I'll take the first stab. There's a few different ways depending on what type of partner you are. And again, you could be across the spectrum. A referral partner, there's a referral fee you would get. As a MSP partner, it allows you to basically bulk buy and at a discounted rate, and then you sell the services along with your marketing services on top of that. And there's margin there for you. If you're a resale partner, you resell the product at a discount, and that discount is the margin that you sell to the customer. That's what you make. So there's a variety of different ways. And then obviously the services you provide, generally speaking, is where I think where the partnership is, the rubber meets the road, is that's the services that you're selling as a partner, depending on what type of partner you are. That's where the financial benefit is. But there's lots of different ways, and it really depends on how that relationship is set up.
Yeah, I think you captured most of them, I think, but yeah, the biggest kind of area for I guess kind of making more money with Acton is really kind of getting the services to support it. Like I said, Goose Digital started out as just a marketing automation agency, and what we quickly realized is our customers needed a variety of different services around that, helping actually with the lead generation itself, helping convert those leads, helping with their overarching marketing strategy, helping with their data and insights, you kind of name it, helping them with their social media. So we really expanded our team and our services to meet all of our customers' needs. And yeah, that's been huge. Our service offerings have evolved, and they continue to evolve to this day. So.
Yep. Yeah. Same here. And I think I already touched it, but we also added a lot of integration services to our offering. So, and that's where we really see that stickiness, but also, see a recurring revenue stream apart from the kickback on licenses, consultancy hours, the marketing support that we offer, but integration for us, like in that MarTech stack and sales tech stack, really is for us is very worthwhile from a financial point of view.
All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you, Mark and Elias, for your time. You guys are great. Appreciate you sharing your insights.
Yeah,
absolutely, anytime. And I think anybody who joined this call today, thank you for the questions, and hope to talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot, guys.
Sure.
Thank you.